Hey guys, welcome to tonight's LGBTQ Voice. My name is Traci Welch. I'll be hosting tonight. Before we actually introduce our guests, I kind of want to let you guys know some interesting news in the community that happened yesterday that I saw. We had Timothy Ray Brown, one of the only people who is a survivor of HIV, in remission for the last 12 plus years. They actually have reported a cure for a second patient following the routine or the way that Timothy Ray Brown had got for his life through leukemia and whatnot. So positive note, HIV hopefully will be on the decline, even though we've been on the upswing in the past couple of years. So tonight's guest, I'm very fortunate that we have Cape Cod Pride and we have free mom hugs. I thought it would be kind of cool to kind of mix it up a little bit. We had Fall River Pride on our show last month, and each month we're trying to bring other groups and prides in the community. I know we hit up Worcester Pride, and possibly Springfield Pride may come on the show. So I got sent out some emails and some feelers, so hopefully we'll let you guys know what's going on in the South Coast, not just what's going on for us. So first we're going to hit up I almost said South Coast Pride, God help me, South Coast LGBTQ Network actually does South Coast Pride. So we're going to talk about Cape Cod Pride, and we have Susan Wilson is the president, and Charles Evans is the vice president and acting clerk. And just to introduce, we have Kristen Texera, if I say it right, Texera?
No, that's right.
Cool beans, from Free Mom Hugs. So we'll get back to you in a minute. But Cape Cod Pride. So for some of you guys know, I was on Cape Cod, well, back in the day we said Cape Cod Gay Pride in the late 90s. So I just think it's really cool that it's back up. It's amazing. I took my kid, and as you guys know, I'm trying to get my show up on the phone here, so I make sure I can answer your questions as we go. Make sure we get it up. AJ, we are up. Comments. Sorry about that, guys. See? I do it every time. Every time I do it, and I think I do it, I don't get it every show. So Sue, you are the president.
Yes.
And I did some research on you, so I'm actually going to give you some kudos. So it says that you served on boards, and of TICFA, Massachusetts Political Caucus, Mass Lesbian Gay Bar Association, Gay and Lesbian Advocates and Defender, GLAD. Yep. And Greater Boston PFLAG, founder of the annual Lesbian and Friends Dance Benefit for Mass Breast Cancer Coalition. Moved to the Cape in about 2016. You attended your first Pride there, and you joined the Pride in 2017. You helped incorporate Pride and has represented the LGBT community for over 30 years as a nurse attorney specializing in personal injury and patients' rights laws. Married to Laura. They live in Mashpee. And they have one daughter, and I don't know if you still have your puppy.
We still have the puppy, although she's 8 years old now.
Yeah, the golden retriever, right? Golden retriever. And Charles retired and has a career of 18 years of extensive banking,
yes,
followed by 23 years of teaching of higher education in New York City.
yes.
Moved to Falmouth over 7 years ago, so probably 8 or 9 now?
8.
8. He volunteers his time at the food pantry for the AIDS support group of Cape Cod, and he mentors elementary school students, proud father and grandfather.
Proud.
So you have one daughter?
Yes.
And how many children do you have?
I have a daughter.
You have a daughter?
And
Oh, I have the son. Psych. And so we're just going to go to an introduction for yourself, Kristen. So I actually only have information about the free hug, so tell us some stuff about you.
That's it. That's all I've ever done. No, I'm just kidding.
That's all right.
I am just a mom from New Hampshire. My background's in the entertainment industry, so I've always been an LGBTQ advocate since I started musical theater when I was like in 4th grade. I work in the education field now, and I got involved with this through wanting to do something to help my son, who is gay. Well, he came out as gay, now he's actually about to transition. So that's me. I'm just kind of a mom who has done a lot of different things, worn a lot of hats. I stayed home with my kids for 12 years. And in that 12 years, I realized that there's a lot of power in what a mom can do. So that's how I got involved with this.
So a couple of our children, kids, God help me, I'm actually an adult advisor for NB-AGLE, which is New Bedford Alliance of Gay and Lesbian Youth, and there's Bagleys all over the state. Some of our kids are transitioning. So when one of our kids comes back about once a month or so, we ask him for an update. So when he came back, probably like, 4 or 5 months ago, I said, is your voice changing, or is it the weather change? And he's like, no, it's my voice changing. So he kept coming every month, and in the summertime, I looked down, like, he shaved his legs. I'm like, he shaved. I'm like, sorry, because I have to ask. And I said, well, Alex has been on our show, so I guess I can say, you know, Alex's name. We usually don't say names. You know, we share stories on identities. But Alex, I just didn't like the hair blow, and I didn't like the hair blow, so I had to shave my legs. But he's going to college. Alex was on our show a couple weeks ago, just giving us an update on what it was like in college and his transition and stuff. So Alex keeps us posted on the show, as well as with our kids. And one of our kids had top surgery about 6 months ago. So he tells us, you know, his story, and we kind of help the other kids along, you know, that need it. So all right, so we're going to talk about Pride. So how did you guys get involved, or why did you get involved?
Well, it started 16, June of 16, it came back to the Cape. It was organized by PFLAG of Cape Cod and No Place for Hate of Falmouth.
Yep.
They got together and started it up again. And Pride that year in June of 16 was right after the Pulse nightclub massacre. And I had just moved to the Cape, and after that happened in Florida, I just knew that I needed to get to Pride. I didn't know anybody, but I just knew I needed to go. And I remember driving up, it was held at a middle school, was it? And driving up the driveway, and there was this giant arc of rainbow balloons, and I knew I was home.
Yeah.
And
Hence the logo?
hence the logo.
That's the logo.
And that was my introduction to Cape Cod Pride.
And yourself, Traci?
Well, like I said, I hadn't been on Cape that long, but it was 16th also. And it happened right after the election. My husband Paul and I, we decided to go to No Place for Hate. Had a dinner. And in the course of all that, we all kind of gathered after the election because there was so much tension and chaos going on after, you know, who took the office. And they
Who
mentioned...
shall not be named.
Yeah, he should not be
You can
named.
say, we just don't like
And
it.
we decided, well, there they were talking about having a Pride, so we said, let's go and check it out. And like Sue said, we actually went not knowing what to expect. It was a small crowd, but then I realized that it was something I wanted to be a part of. And like I said, I came from New York. So coming to New York and dealing with the population of gayness there and the population of gayness here, there was a big difference. So I wanted to be a part of something. And when No Place for Hate decided that they were going to continue the Pride, I jumped right into it and said, I want to be a part of it, and here I am.
So Anthony Cahill said, can identify as a Cherokee Indian and receive the yearly big check they get. I'm not sure exactly what that has to do with tonight's topic. If you want to send me a private, maybe email, that you guys can get me at Traci at sclgbtqnetwork.org, guys. I'm not really sure what that question has to do with tonight, but Anthony, we'll kind of get back to you. I guess I try and read the comments and questions as we go along, so every now and then you'll see me go down. So for the audience that doesn't know, Pride was pretty big back in the 90s. And again, it stopped for whatever reasons. It did stop. I knew I moved away, and I think we just kind of dissipated as a group. Everybody kind of went their own ways, and for me, it was personal. And I'm real honest. I love Scott, and I love Reno. So, hey guys, shout out to you guys. But we argued in our committee meetings, and I just always said, how do you expect the world to accept us for who we are? We can't get along in a meeting. So that's one of the reasons that I left Cape Cod Pride. It wasn't that I didn't have pride. It's just that I don't know what the ends to the means kind of thing is. And it was hard. I have so many great memories. Scott's kids, because Scott runs SIGJA, which is Cape Cod Islands Gay Street Youth Alliance. I told you guys offline that, I mean, the youth group was on a float throwing Skittles. I mean, to have a parade, and it wasn't small. It's going to go back this year to the Highness Village Green, but we would start in the middle of Highness Village Green, go down the set of lights, take a left, and come back up, and that was it. But we had such great entertainment, and Sherry Lynn is back this year.
Yes, she is.
Well, she'd be there every year. And I still follow Sherry Lynn wherever she's at. I was a groupie. She used to be Sherry Lynn in Stillwater back in the day. And then it ended up just changing Sherry Lynn and her drummer, Joe. And I have been friends for over 25 years. So it's an amazing opportunity to get the community involved and to have it back in Hyannis. I think it's great. It's centralized. We did a silent auction one year. And we go all around the Cape of basically P-Town, and that's what donation for the silent auction. And I actually offline, I gave them all my notes from back in 95, 96, 97, 98, when I was on the committee. What do you guys see for Cape Cod Pride, like today, this year, for the future? What does that hold for you guys?
Well, we wanted to not only have a Pride Festival in June for the whole Cape, but also to promote regional, local community development all year round. So our goal is to produce a June festival every year and all year round have events and gatherings more locally to help develop community locally.
Well, one of the questions I'd ask you guys is, why do you feel you need the upper, lower, and middle Cape Connections Committee for Pride? So is that because Cape's so big and someone's in charge of like a different sector of the Cape?
Well, I'm still relatively new to the Cape.
Yeah.
But what I've learned is people on the Upper Cape will go as far as Hyannis, and somehow there's a wall there.
Yeah,
they don't go past it. Yeah, and the same thing for people on the Lower Cape. Falmouth is like in another country.
Yeah.
So given that, to develop community, we knew we had to promote development locally. And again, hoping to have an all-Cape festival every year, and that's why we moved it to Hyannis, so it's more centrally located.
Now, I heard that P-Town's having theirs on June 1st.
I think there's this.
Well, isn't this the second year that they're actually having what they call Pride? I think last year was their first Pride because everything else was Carnival, wasn't it?
Yeah, they're doing Pride June 1st. P-Town is, why I know, because David Velasquez Bermudez, who's going to be at our 50th anniversary Stonewall event, he can't be at our Pride because he's going to be in P-Town. So he's going to be there. And some folks from an archive from Florida is actually coming up and videotaping him to make sure that they keep the history of Stonewall alive. So, yeah,
well, one thing, Pride is, I would say, the Pride Month all over. So it was kind of rough for us to decide what date we wanted to do it. Last year we had it on a Sunday.
Yeah.
But we found out on the Cape, no matter what,
yeah,
traveling on the Cape in the summer is crazy.
Oh, it sucks.
So one thing we
easy.
thought about was how would the traveling be, and have to take consideration people leaving the Cape, coming to the Cape. Yeah. And like Sue was saying, I always joke, do you have your passport to come to Falmouth?
Yeah.
So it's the ideal place to go back to the Green, which is centralized. And most of the time during the traveling, when you tell someone that we are coming to the Green, it's always yes, yes. So I think it's going to be exciting, and I expect a large crowd.
I think it will be. I mean, look how many people show up for Carnival every year. If they want to come, they're going to want to come. Yeah. And parking is same in P-Town. Where are you going to park? Wherever you can find parking in Hyannis. Yeah. You can find parking. So, I mean, just to have, I smiled, when I found out it was back. I mean, it's almost 20 years or less that it's back, and it's going to bring so much for the community and bringing people together. Our network formed because 2 gay guys passed away, and they left a boatload of money to the gay community, or people for grants. And so everybody that was dipping in the grants, we formed the network together. And this is our 5th year. So we have people that aren't even gay related that are on our board. Our president is a straight woman whose brother is a trans individual. I am a secretary, God help me. Our treasurer is a straight woman, and she's from the Fairhaven Council on Aging, or Coastline Elderly. So we have people that are different. We have Bristol DA's office that is on our board. We have Comcast on our board. WYCA is on our board. God help me. There's a bunch of people that we formed our board to kind of help the whole South Coast. So when I saw that you guys had those 3 different sections, I could understand why. Because it's usually just 3 of us that are doing everything, and I'm like, how do we get more people involved? They're so involved with their groups that not that they're not helping us with they come to our events, but how do we get more gay people involved in the community? And I think that's what we lack here, and all around, same as our youth groups. All the youth groups around the state are lacking support. A lot of the kids aren't coming out, and some of it is, I don't need to because I can see you on my phone, or I can talk to you guys on my phone.
2 years ago, Charles and I did very informal focus groups, and we went to each region of the Cape to try to get an understanding of what people needed in the community. And the needs of each region were a little different, but the one common thread was that everybody agreed there were lots of LGBTQ people living on the Cape full time, but there was nothing connecting them. And that was the role that Cape Cod Pride wants to fill.
Oh, that's terrific. So we, as our network, and I don't know, like 10 other people right now, this is our second year, we have a winter film series, an LGBTQ winter film series. So the last month we had over, was it 85 people? And this one, so we're actually at the New Bedford Whaling Museum, and we're actually, so it's a good time to plug that one, Tracy. See where my notes are, I'm not gonna be able to find it right now. I'm gonna find it. Sorry guys, with my arm, it hasn't been that easy lately. Psych, 13th, so March 13th is not it. March 31st is 3 Generations at the New Bedford Whaling Museum at 1. And after each movie, we actually have a discussion panel, and we talk about the movie, what's going on with the movie, and then everybody kind of leaves. So it's like a wonderful event. And Cloudburst was last month, and we all cried, and we laughed, and we cried, and we laughed. Olympia Dukakis was amazingly funny. If you haven't seen the movie, it's amazing. And 3 Generations is the next one coming up, and then we have the one in April. March 13th at St. Peter's Church is the Winter Social Pasta Night from 6:30 to 8:30 at 351 Elm Street in Dartmouth. So I want to kind of give plug outs. So again, for our community, as big as we are, I know Connie's been on our show before, and she said there's 100,000 people in New Bedford. That means that, 10,000 gay people, where are you all? And to get people to kind of come out to these events. And after we talked about the Pulse attack, we had our 10-year commemoration of our Pulse attack. So in 2006, we had a local gay bar that was under attack by a high school student with a fake ID and tried to kill the patrons in the bar. So we just had our commemoration and then the Puzzle attack. Some people don't want to come out. And because Rhode Island is right down the street, a lot of people, you can hit 8 gay bars in one night in Rhode Island and not even be in our area. In the Mallory Dock, I know you guys weren't around then, but in Hyannis, it used to be the gay bar on the Mallory Dock. So everybody used to always go to the Dick Dock. Everybody used to call it the Dick Dock. So everybody used to go to the dock and just kind of hang out and then have that social, because you could either go, Puzzles was here and La Place, or you go to Hyannis, which is the Mallory Dock, or you go to P-Town. So we always had that realm, or you can go to Providence. So right now, we have one gay bar. The Mallory Dock ain't here, so where do people go? Where do people in Falmouth want to go? Where do people in Mashpee go? Do I want to really drive to P-Town, or do I want to drive to wherever? And wherever Shirley Lynn plays, she plays sometimes on 134 in Dennis. The bar there, I'll kind of bring some my New Bedford friends, call my Cape friends up, and kind of hang out there. But we did a community needs assessment to kind of see what the needs are in our community. And we just kind of did, what was it, a month ago? Eileen is also a co-host. And we actually went through the whole thing with the public and let them know what the stats and what we came up with. So we actually just started a book club. So just anything like that to kind of get people to kind of be interested in what's going on more in the community, I think is kind of huge. All right, so back to you. Psych. So how many events do you guys, planning, like, doing a year? Like, what is your goal or different events that we have coming out?
Well, we don't have a specific goal for the local events. Yep. We do have chairs of each region, the Upper Cape, Mid Cape, and Outer and Lower Cape, and it's kind of what develops, I'd say. The board is organizing in addition to the Pride Festival this year. We're celebrating 3 major anniversaries.
Please tell me what they are.
So we have the 50th anniversary of Stonewall. So we are having a Stonewall program both on the Lower and Upper Cape coming up with David, who will be there, and showing the film Stonewall Uprising. And we're having this weekend the first tea dance celebration recognizing the 15th anniversary of gay marriage in Massachusetts.
So AJ, can you put up the tea dance? There we go.
And in addition to the DJ, Sherry Lynn is going to be performing.
Sherry, shout out,
Yeah.
Sherry Lynn.
She's good.
So that's this Sunday from 4 to 7 in Falmouth at Flinny's Bar 3. And this weekend, we're also participating in Yarmouth in the Cape's big St. Patrick's Day parade. This is the first time we'll be in it. I don't even know if a lot of people know the history of the St. Patrick's Day parade in Boston and how it ended up at the Supreme Court of the United States years ago. But This is the first year we're participating on the Cape. They were totally gracious about us participating, and I hope we get a big crowd behind our banner to march in St. Patrick's Day Parade. That's this Saturday in Yarmouth.
So if anyone is interested, go on our website and find out where to line up and come and march with us.
Oh, yeah, because on the flyer, it has all the information of, your website is good, your Facebook page is excellent, and it gives you really good direction, because I kind of peeked at it ahead of time. Our youth group, actually, we have a Cape Verdean Parade every year, and around here it's pretty huge, and we've actually marched twice. This will be our third year, and last year we threw out rainbow beads, so we're giving out rainbow beads as we were going, and just to get that support. You know, when I was on South Coast Equality, we actually marched in a parade in one of the towns, and it did not go well. There was just booze. One of our individuals where I was in drag, and it didn't go well, you know. But there's going to be opposition, you know, wherever we go, and hopefully not as much. So have you guys had opposition throughout?
Well, this is our first time, like Sue said, in St. Patrick, but the last 2 years we have marched in the Falmouth Parade, Christmas Parade, and it has been great. They're well received. Last year, someone came and told us there was a Christian right person there with a sign, but when we passed them, they applauded and everything, so I was fine. So I'm looking forward to St. Patrick's Day.
I just think the more we're out there and visible, people know what you're doing, and it helps. Our kids' banner, it basically just says NBI, it says empowering LGBTQ youth ages 14 to 24, and it has our address. When we get up there at the end, they actually read everybody's stuff, and everybody's clapping and cheering, so it's really great for our kids to kind of to feel that, and I guess to feel the love, free hugs, you know. So Anthony just sent a message back. They are teaching second graders in school that kids have two moms or two dads. They have illustrated books with disturbing pictures, actually. So what about the other real parents? Are they just non-existent? I'm going to read it all if I can. See more. It says see more, but I can't get more. Oops, thank you. Are they non-existent? It takes a man and a woman to make a baby. How can you explain to a second grader that it's normal to have two dads, two moms, married to each other? So I guess, Anthony, I'll answer that. I think the hardest decision for me is I was married to a great man, and realized one day I needed a great woman. And our child was 4 years old at the time, so I guess at a younger age, it's easier for them to understand that there's two moms and two dads, you know, two moms and dad and a mom. As you know, my ex-husband remarried to a friend of ours, and they've been happily married ever since. And our child, because we have the communication, and I know you said that your child was transitioning, like if my son wanted an ear piercing, I said, what does daddy say? Well, daddy says yes, and well, I say no, then he answers no. We don't argue about it. It's not tit for tat. It's a family dynamics, just the same as it is with a mom and a dad and a mom and a dad. It just happens to be two moms. So if you look at it that way, Anthony, maybe it'll be a little bit easier. And Eileen Dugas, who's our network coordinator, we started a group of ages 8 to 13 called the Rainbow Club, to have parents come in and talk with other parents because they don't understand what's going on. We stopped doing that. We didn't have as many people as we thought could come to the group, but if you need resources and whatnot, you can hit up Eileen at sclgbtqnetwork.org, or again, email me. I'll be more than glad to talk to you offline. All right? Thank you so much, Anthony. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, I think, I mean, I smile every time we talk about the Cape because I lived there for 18 years, and it's still part of my life. I'm a member of the Hyannis Elks, and I talk to people all the time on the Cape and what's going on. One of my friends is still a DM. I worked for Tedeschi Food Shops for 18 years, and 7-Eleven bought us, unfortunately. So there's just one person left from all the 21 DMs. There's only one left from Tedeschi's, so it's kind of sad. I just talked to her before he came. So shout out to Becky. I told her I'd give her a shout out today. She has all the old Cape Tedeschi's that aren't there anymore, and the 7-Elevens. I just think it's going to be so good bringing it back, and I could just see the smiles and the laughter on what's going on. I'm going to skip my notes, sorry. Having one arm hasn't been that easy. So how many people are you guys expecting this year? How many people did you have last year? Or?
It's grown by about 200 every year. First year there was about 250, then it was about 450, then 650, and my guess is it'll be between 800 and 1,000 this year.
So
I'm going for 1,000 to 2,000.
Depending on the weather.
Yeah, this is our third year taking it over. We have about 500 to 700. So each year we try and grow that a little bit. We went from 40 vendors to 80 vendors. So each year we kind of, you know, that's why I gave you guys some of our stuff. Let's share everything. I'm not part of NERP. Well, I don't know if we're actually a NERP, but I was supposed to go to NERP this weekend, but I can't. I hurt myself and I'm not working right now, but Northeast Regional Prides, and you guys said you were part of Interpride.
Right.
So Interpride is all the prides that around the world, and this year's Interpride will be in New York for the Stonewall anniversary, the anniversary of Stonewall. But being part of the NERP is amazing. Of course, I left all my stuff in the other room. I was going to change my hat over to the Cape Cod Pride hat. I had my hat from 20 years ago. It says Cape Cod Pride, has our logo and all the pins. So every time you go to events, they have swap meets. So you can swap your stickers, you can swap your pins, you swap whatever you want. So I swapped a lot of stuff and I got a lot of pins for my hat, and that's what I did. So I would love for you, Kevin. That's Kevin. Yo, show me Kevin. For Kevin to get my hat, that would be terrific if you guys can see it back then. AJ, can you put up my pictures for Pride? So as I joke each week about that I'm fat and happy, you'll see that was actually my girlfriend Teresa, and Newt Gingrich's half-sister, Candace Gingrich, was actually our key person for that event, and the rest of us from Cape Cod Pride. So Kathy Reno and Scott and I are still really great friends today, and the rest of the folks, you know, throughout the years we kind of dissipated, and Pam had passed away, and McKinley. There's so many people I don't keep in touch with, but Reno and Scott I do. So shout out to, again, Cape Cod Pride, and we were actually at the Hyannis Village Green. So we're going to talk about some more events. AJ, can you pop up the next set? What we got? Possibly the one. Let's see what we got. So that's your festival event, and that actually tells everybody what's going on in your community calendar. So you won't be able to see it now. It'll show up like a couple seconds behind. We see the TV screen over there, so we see what's going on. But that actually tells you right now some of the entertainment that's going on. Sherry Lynn was there. So who's going to be performing at this year's Pride? Like what's going on?
Funktopus is going to be the live band.
Yeah, they were at last year's Pride.
Yeah.
I actually got their business card. I did, because I think they were pretty cool.
Very good.
Yeah.
They were great.
One thing about the last year, reason we brought them back was we were at the high school.
Yep.
And due to some locations up and set up, I don't think they got the exposure that they needed. Plus, one of the things I found here on the Cape, getting younger people out is kind of hard. And I think
Incoming.
it's a great group to attract all ages.
Yep.
So I'm excited about seeing them. Sherry Lynn, I remember a few years back when she used to do a tea dance in Hyannis.
Buds Country Lounge.
Yeah.
Love me some Buds.
Yeah, that was great. And to see
Yeah.
her come back and know that she's so talented as a DJ as well as a singer,
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a great addition to the entertainment that we have this year.
What's funny, whenever Melissa Etheridge plays in town, she actually does a Melissa Etheridge tribute afterwards, and she actually did a couple of years at the old Mallory Dock. It ended up being like a Brazilian bar kind of thing, so we took it over for the night. And she tried to do a Texas Hold'em on Sundays there. So we go once a month or so back to the old gay bar, you know, and kind of do it there. So is this show about mental illness? No, this show's on Gay Pride today, and it's also on Free Mom Hugs, so we're going to get to Free Mom Hugs in a minute. Ruthie, that's okay, I'll roll with the next thing. Sometimes we don't need to. But you know, I think we need to share. I share all Rhode Island Pride stuff. I share anybody that gives me stuff. We have I think I told you guys offline, or when we talked on the phone, there's a Mass Rhode Island gay page. There's a Rhode Island gay page that you can go on, and I'll show you guys that information, you know, when we end the show. We actually have an adult page for our youth group, and we have our own kids page, so the kids can talk to themselves. And it's a 14 to 24 page, and we monitor that to make sure that our kids can just talk to each other, not have to, you know, anybody kind of watching around. Let's see. So Nate Mendy says, "Hi everyone. Just knowing that there is support out there, because for me, going to Pride Cafe on Mondays and feeling accepted makes me happy." Thanks, Nate. So. Hi, Kevin says, "Hi, Nate." So we actually, as a network, every Monday night, we actually took our youth center and gave it to the community. So we told our kids that for $1,000 a month we pay rent, and we're only open for 2 hours a week. Can we share that space? And for 3 years, they said, "Well, this is my cup. When I get there, I know my cup's there. I know this is my seat. This is my mine. I'm like, but Pride Cafe is at the UU Church, and they're the first and third Monday of the month, and people forget which Monday it is. So people would forget and they would not come. So we said, can we have Pride Cafe come? So Pride Cafe is our 18-plus group. So on our Thursday Agli night, it's our 14 to 24 group. On Mondays, 18-plus group. What do you do to these kids that are 25 years old? Oh, you can't come to Agli no more. You got to go. What are you going to send a 25-year-old? Pride Cafe on Mondays. Tuesdays, we're here. Wednesdays, we have yoga. Free.
Yeah.
Thursdays, we have our youth group. Fridays is nothing at this particular moment. We may start a grief counseling group. South Coast Hospital actually has one. So we thought, and after the last movie series, they said that they didn't think it was working. So we thought we might do that for LGBTQ. But on Sundays, we have Sober and Out Gay AA on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. So we do a lot from that one little center. So that was Nate saying a shout out to Pride Cafe. So it's a social group. Sometimes it could be a game night. We have a mean Jenga game. You know, it's really kind of cool. Could be board games. Could be we actually have a TV, movies, and whatnot out of there. So shout out to Nate. Let me go back. Pick a question. Any question?
Do you want to, let's talk about the other things
Yeah.
at Pride.
You got it.
So we have a keynote speaker,
Yep.
Eileen Monroe. You may want to describe.
Eileen Monroe is a great journalist. I know her personally. I knew her, actually it was kind of interesting, I knew her before I came to the Cape. She was a minister, and I used to belong to this church called Unity Fellowship in New York. And every year I used to go to convocation in LA, and that's how I first knew of her. Dynamic speaker. Has been around quite a while. She writes for, oh my God.
Bay Windows.
Bay Windows. She has a weekly radio podcast. I don't know the exact address, but if you go on our website, we'll try to post that information.
Okay.
So we're excited to get her. Plus, we were able to reach out to quite a few speakers that were around during the Stonewall time, during the passing of the gay marriage, the Massachusetts
The gay rights law. That's the other anniversary. That's the 30th anniversary of the gay rights law.
So I have quite a few dynamic speakers there. Plus, we have a poet, interesting two MCs. We try to be very versatile for everyone.
Yep.
I'm excited for it. We have, I think it's Jason Wu. Jansen Wu.
From GLAAD.
For GLAAD,
GLAAD,
he would
cool.
be there.
We'll talk
Yes.
about how we got marriage in Massachusetts.
And talk about marriage, this is when our interesting person was there when it was passed and married quite a few people when the law was put in effect. So I'm excited to be a part of the anniversary and to be working with someone that was there, although she doesn't want to take the credit. I get on the stage and talk about it, but I take my hat off to her for being there to be one of the pioneers in marrying quite a few of the people when it was legal to get married here in Massachusetts. So I bow.
Thank you.
It should be an interesting day, and after that, we are going to have an after dance at the Cape Cod Beer, and Sherry Lynn will be our DJ at that also.
Yeah, cool.
So we will definitely enjoy Sherry Lynn that day. And like we said, Funktopus will be there, and I'm excited about seeing them, getting young people out. And we want everyone, it's open to everyone. There's no age limit.
We'll have stuff for kids.
Yeah, there will be
Yeah,
stuff
kids
for kids,
zones.
and yeah,
Yeah.
stuff for all ages. And being back in, being in Hyannis is a great exposure by being on the green, because the last couple of years we were in Falmouth at a high school, and an elementary school, so you were kind of
Yep.
distance. So now hopefully we get the exposure that we deserve.
Well, I think it's amazing too, because I mean, you set up all the vendors, it's on the grass, people can
Yeah,
have it.
yeah.
When we do our Pride event, it's just nice people can have a picnic lunch. You know, and I mean, I think it's amazing to be able to do. There's no other comments, I was just peeking. So,
Plus, we're going to have that giant rainbow arch
oh yeah.
on Main Street.
Yeah, I was showing them pictures,
Yeah.
you guys are offline, I was showing them pictures, I had some photo albums from, 20 years ago, so I showed them offline where things used to be, and we had the bounce house back then, a bouncy house. We can't have it at our Pride event for some particular reason, I forget insurance, I can't remember why, but maybe someday we will. We actually do our Pride a little different, I always joke I'm fat and happy, but I see things different. We actually do a 1.9 wellness walk around the park at 9. Then we have yoga in the park at 9:45, and then our Pride events from 11 to 4, and then we have our after party probably at La Place again this year. So we're actually having a farmer's market this year in the corner. And to the left side of the stage, we're actually doing a live art, graffiti artists, people doing live art to kind of introduce what's going on in the community, because we think that some of the arts are missing, and maybe get some of the kids involved in that, and maybe a little bit healthier trend for them to go. Let's see. Was there 2 more events, AJ, up there? Meet the author and the yes. So there's a meet. You want to talk about the Meet the Author? What are you guys?
Meet the Author is one of our members. I also belong to the Family Gay Men Social Group.
Yep.
And we call him Joey Joseph. After the Me Too movement came out, he decided it was time to tell his story. He was married both to a male and female, has kids, and he shared his story how he lived in an abusive life. So this is what that is about. So if you go to our website, you can get information. He has his book, Boys Suffer Too, which they can be purchased on Amazon. And that Sunday, the first Sunday in April, we will get a chance to hear his story.
I think that's amazing. I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else I missed.
I remember during the Christmas, I don't know the exact date, we did a movie, can't think of the movie now.
Boy Erased.
Yeah, Boy Erased, thank you. And it was just amazing to see how after he watched that, there were so many things that he remembered that he just really had to break down. So it's kind of interesting to know that when we start thinking about the Me Too movement, there are so many people that we know that has been affected by that. And I'm glad that he's took the time to write the book, and I hope everyone can come out and get a chance to meet him and hear his story.
Oh, wow, that'd be great if you go back to work. It's a Sunday?
Yes.
I might be able to go to that one. I might. So I'm going to pass you guys for a moment. We'll come back to you guys, but we're going to hit Kristen up. And free mom hugs. So I did some research. I want to kind of read you guys some research I found. So the founder was Sarah Cunningham. She started the group in Oklahoma in 2015. She's a Christian mom with a gay kid living in Oklahoma, saying enough is enough. If I don't fight for my son and his rights, like my hair is on fire, then who will? It's time we celebrate our LGBTQ plus children. She won't stop until she no longer hears horror stories from the LGBTQ plus community and their mothers. So that's the research that I did. In 2017, Sarah and her son Parker went on a 10-city tour, and they gave over 10,000 hugs and ended their first national march at Stonewall. So I thought that was kind of cool. So how did you get involved with the Free Mom Hugs?
So I actually saw a post on Facebook. Sarah, I guess she just got fed up one day. She saw a post of a couple that was getting married, and their parents wouldn't participate. And she just said, if you need a mom, I'll be there. And she went and was their stand-in mom. And I was so inspired by that. And then Jamie Lee Curtis saw it, and she posted about it. So I was in the shower one day, and I was like, you know what I'm going to do? Because I only get my best ideas in the shower. I'm going to go hug people. So I called Boston Pride, and I said, can I come hug people? Like, is that a thing? And she said, well, actually, you could talk to this woman who's doing it already. And I said, really? So I connected with her, and they just said, you know, since this post went viral, we have so many people involved, we don't know what, we don't know what to do. So we're starting chapters. And I was like, well, I'll just do a chapter then, because I'm an overachiever. So I decided to do a chapter. I took over the New Hampshire and Massachusetts co-leader position with this wonderful woman named Valerie, who was already involved, and got to know Sarah, got to know the mission, and it's really bigger than, we'll start with hugs, right? Yep. So you start with the power of a hug. And Sarah's thing is, she's wants to make sure that people recognize that they have value as a person, right? So the power of a hug is, if you're not getting that in your life from your family, from your parents, from the people who are supposed to love you, you feel isolated, you feel alone. So imagine if someone comes up to you, and this is all Sarah did. She put on a button, went to a parade, it said Free Mom Hugs, and she would make eye contact with people and say, would you like a hug or a high five? And that small interaction just opened her up to hearing about a lot of what people are going through. So I heard about it, and as a mom, I don't know that there's anything my kid could do that would make me not love them or accept them, right? When my kid came out to me, I was like, okay, whatever, here's my #1 rule. Don't be a jerk, and don't bring a jerk into my house. You know, like, there you go. I don't care who they are.
Yep.
So it just connected with me. So Free Mom Hugs does just that. We go to different events, and we have, you know, for the Massachusetts and New Hampshire chapter, we have them listed on our Facebook page. And your job, should you want to join, is, you know, we kind of have a list of guidelines. We are trying to educate people on banning conversion therapy, which is just abhorrent to me. I can't even imagine. And, you know, educate clergy, educate teachers through experiences where they see that an LGBT person is really just a person. You know, your person that wrote in who said, you know, how can a child feel love from 2 moms? Well, how a child can feel love from anyone who wants to give them love, right? So it doesn't matter if it's 2 moms, 2 dads, you know, a mom and a dad, just a mom, just a dad, a grandma, you know, a friend, an ally, a support system. So that's what Free Mom Hugs does. We want to be empowering, we want to be encouraging, we want to embrace people. And the most important thing we want to do is affirm someone's value as a person, because their gender or sexual orientation has very little to do with their value in this world. So Free Mom Hugs goes to events, and we just are there if you need us, right? And honestly, like, to me, it's the best job in the world, because I just put on a sweatshirt and some sneakers, and I just hug people all day long. It's like, how bad is this? And as a mom, it fills my soul, because I can't bear the idea of anyone, from a child to an adult, not feeling loved. It blows my mind. So I've heard some horror stories, and I don't want, if I can do something to prevent one person feeling like that, that's enough for me.
That was one of my questions, like, what is your best moment you've had of hugs and best stories?
Well, you know, it's funny, because here's the crazy thing. This started and it's snowballed. So there's actually, for the New Hampshire, Massachusetts chapter, we haven't even gone to a parade yet. We're all just getting our t-shirts, you know, we organize chapters. As of today, there are 41 chapters just starting today. When I joined this organization, they didn't have chapters. That was 3 months ago. So we've come kind of barreling down the runway here and building these chapters. I was in Market Basket the other day with my sweatshirt on, and a woman stopped me and she said, you know, I haven't talked to my mother in 20 years. I said, really? She said, I came out when I was 20 years old, and she said to me, no child of mine is going to be gay. And that's the last time I talked to her. And she said, can I have a hug? We're gonna get choked up. And I was like, of course you can have a hug. And I said, listen, as a mom, there's no reason that any mom should ever do that to you. So just know that, like, I just think you're the bee's knees. And if you are concerned, don't be, because there's way more people out there that will love you than won't.
Exactly.
It's tough, but we've had so many kids from our youth group that have been couch surfing, that are homeless, and that's another reason why it took them over 3 years to say, you know what, we'll share our home.
Yeah.
You know, because there's some people out there that don't have one, you know. And I'm going to cry when I tell the story. I've cried on the show before. So 2 years ago, when we did our Pride event, I leave our Pride event, because we start early in the morning, as you guys will probably know. We start at 6, we set up. Our Pride from the whole day is from 11 to 4, and then we have an after party at a local gay bar place from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. So I leave like at 3 o'clock, I get to the bar, I'm like, I'm gonna have a beer. I grab a beer, I put my feet up, because walking the hill all day, like even the Village Green goes down and up, and that, I mean, it's not, you know, but it's like, oh my God, it's a lot of walking when you're fat and happy. And so I'm at the bar, and one of my friends, Mary Louise, comes up to me and says, Traci, I had to leave Pride, and she's all upset. I'm thinking, what happened? She goes, I saw a little girl having a great time with her friends, and she had a picnic lunch, she was on her blanket, and I saw her with cuts all down her arm, and she had cuts down her leg. And I said, well, what was wrong? She goes, nothing. She said, I didn't realize these kids had these problems. And I said, that's why I do what I do. I said, if that kid, she goes, that kid is having the time of her life. I said, if she's the only person that showed up at our Pride event, then our Pride Day was successful.
I think the statistic is something like 43% of kids commit suicide just from lack of acceptance.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So we, like I said, every year, like, we try to introduce stuff. Last year, we actually had a canine demonstration, let people know that the police in our community are safe.
Yes.
How cool was it to have a police dog attack a police officer, or the other police officer? I mean, it was really cool. And we introduced jazz last year. We had a jazz band come, and Vinny the bubble guy. So if you you gotta hit up Vinny the Bubble Guy. He's got this wand that's like huge, and all the adults were chasing down the damn ass bubbles. I mean, it was amazing to have. But you know, to see the kids just sit and have a picnic lunch. We have vendors, bring your own lunch. We don't care. We had seniors, well, seniors in our community, one called mature now. So mature individuals in our community, they brought their own chairs, and they were just sitting there the whole entire day hanging out. So it's just a different venue. Like I said, I for you guys for the Hyannis Village Grade, I think it's going to be amazing. But we'll go back to the hugs. Bagley, Boston Alliance of Gay and Lesbian Youth, has a Pride and Prom every year, and we walk through Boston and whatnot. I love it when the kids, well, some of the kids who can and cannot wear shirts, you know, free hugs, you know, and everyone just hugs and loves, you know, and to see that. And maybe Jamie Lee Curtis will do that movie. I kind of saw that coming out. That there's a movie
They actually
out.
bought the rights to Sarah's book.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's, you know, gonna be good for everybody. So, I know you haven't been to that many events, so I was gonna ask you what your favorite event is.
Well, I've been to events as a mom,
Yeah.
right? So I've been to many a Pride event. And, you know, I think going as a mom offering hugs will be not even remotely different than what I've done every other time, which is go as a mom offering hugs. I mean, the great thing about free mom hugs is there's no market on that. Like, anybody can do it, really. We just had so many people interested that we tried to kind of organize it so that we could get information about events to people.
Yeah.
You know, and the interesting thing about it is that it has grown so much that we've kind of branched out. You know, one of Sarah's big goals is to do what we call going beyond the hug, which is helping kids if they need a ride, if they want to change their name.
Yeah.
You know, it's working with the community to be a loving presence and support for people of the LGBT community who need us, who need help, who don't have the support at home. So, you know, we really want to kind of be part of the community's future as it evolves and grows and becomes more welcoming, because it's happening despite those who might not want it to. It's happening, right? So you might want to get on board, because it's going to keep going. And especially if there's, you know, a gazillion moms behind it, go ahead, try to stop it. So it should be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of years with this particular group. And it's just lovely people. And the great thing is, and I want to say this, it's not just moms. So dads give great hugs too, and so do grandparents and friends and allies, you know. And I think, you know, if anything, I would say to someone, you know, the power of a hug is pretty amazing. So just give one to someone who wants it. Just make sure you ask.
There's organizations around here. There's summer we went to, we try and go to different festivals and whatnot and do tables at. And I met people from grandparents raising their grandchildren. I didn't know there was an organization. I think if we all share stuff, you know, everybody shares stuff. There's actually New England Pride TV. They have over 9,000 followers. They just made me an editor of the page. So people send me their stuff, and they have over like 9,000 followers. So I share all the stuff you guys, everybody sends me. I'm like, oh, let me see what, okay, I can send that to them. I can send that to them. I think we just need to keep sharing and let people know what's going on in the community. I'm just going to time check.
7:48.
Oh, that's not too bad. We still got time. Woo, woo, woo. I don't have my clock. So I have a couple things here. Nancy says, I agree with you. So that might have been from what Ruthie had said, that this isn't the place to talk about that. Susie says, my daughter came out to me 2 years ago. She was 14. I told her that I don't care who you love or your sexual preference. I just pray that who you have a relationship with treats you well and respect. There's more, so respects you and loves you. I love her girlfriend, and I brought them to Pride Orlando and the Pulse Memorial. We had a blast. So much love and happiness. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that, Susie. I don't know where Susie is from. She went to Orlando. We actually had somebody from Puerto Rico check in to our show one time, because it's called the LGBTQ Voice, so who knows, you know, I can kind of see where people are at. So again, for our Facebook page, the LGBTQ Voice, if you guys are watching, the South Coast LGBTQ Network is the one who actually organizes all the events, South Coast Pride, everything that we do in the community. And if you guys want to, we can still have time, but it's free, info@freemomhugs.org for y'all.
Just go to freemomhugs.org.
And for, I'm going to go back to another page, Sue Wilson at CapeCodPride.org and Charles Evans at CapeCodPride.org. I want to make sure we give our shout outs. Susie said she's originally from Fairhaven, so she's close. So our New Bedford Lions of Gay and Lesbian Youth, we have kids around the area. You don't have to just live in New Bedford to be here. It's like Cape and Islands Gay Straight Youth Lions. My girlfriend at the time used to be an adult advisor, so the island kids would come over every now and then. We'd host them at our house, which is funny as heck, just to get all these kids together for these events. I think it's important, and we tried to start the Rainbow Club, so we can start at an earlier age. So hopefully, you know, as kids get older, you know, that their life's a little bit easier, and it hasn't been.
Nancy just updated her comment. My comment was meant support for your group.
Oh, thank you. So, yeah, oh, most definitely. Gotcha. I appreciate that, Nancy. My comment was meant support for your group. I appreciate that. Let's see, I have other questions, or other events. So guys, on our website coming up, you're gonna see our Stonewall event. So we actually, it's the same as you guys. I'm so glad I hit him up early because he's booked. So, oh God, my name, help me out with this name. David, thank you. David will be one of our veterans, and we're actually having a dinner. We're gonna be at the Harbor Hotel, historic downtown New Bedford, on the 31st. It's $25 ticket, so look for that, because it's gonna be an amazing event. The $1,000 sponsor will have 2 ticket dinners, a meet and greet privately, with the other $500 gets a 1 dinner seating, and 1,000 gets a 2 dinner seating, and more prompts, you know, pluses that go with that. And it's just a private one-on-one, or, you know, 5-on-1, if you want to look at that way, depending on how many sponsors we get for the event. And then they'll speak from 6 to, you know, probably 7 to 8. We'll hear David's story, and it's kind of a cocktail hour. We're going to have appetizers and whatnot, and we're going to have a door prize. I'm not sure what that's going to be yet. And then our Pride is June 1st. So what an amazing way to kick off our Pride event. And again, Sue also said it, that is the 50th anniversary of Stonewall, 50th anniversary of marriage equality. So we will be acknowledging folks in our community from 15 years ago. And 1989, God help me, 30th anniversary of discrimination against LGBTQ and like housing and public accommodations and everywhere you can possibly think of. Any other anniversaries?
Just the 3 this year.
Yeah, we have a 3. Your note said trifecta. Somewhere I read trifecta on one of those things that you had gotten, and I actually missed the 3rd one. So that's why it's important to kind of keep update with what's going on. Like I said, I don't live on the Cape anymore, but I kind of, you know, keep an eye on organizations and what's going on. Rhode Island Pride, again, we got NERP coming up. There's just so many things coming up. Share your stuff. I go back, your Facebook every day has memories. I go back, last night I had 48 memories. I'm like, what the hell did I share? 40, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, I shared all that. In Cape Cod, Rhode Island Pride had an event. They just had their unveiling of their theme this year. They had a huge theme party. So just share stuff.
You talked a little bit about Cape Cod Pride in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And we, this year, wanted to invite people that participated at that time to come back this year to Hyannis and join us. And we want to recognize the people that were on the forefront of this.
Well, that'd be cool.
So,
if I can get Saturday off.
So come back.
It's funny, because when I was on Cape Cod Gay Pride, I keep saying Gay Pride because that's what we called it back then. I remember working at Cape Cod, so getting that one Saturday off, I could barely get off. And I work Saturdays now, so I'll make sure I ask for it off now, because I already asked for ours off, and I already asked for New York Pride off. And one of the things that we set up when we were on Cape Cod Pride is, it used to go Providence, Boston, Cape Cod. So we want to make sure that we didn't double dip. But right now, our New Bedford one is like the first one, and then there's a break, and then it goes. We were the last, the last Saturday, but we had a cancer walk. And we didn't want to impede on that, because we thought that, yeah, I had gay rights today, hopefully I have them tomorrow, but I may not have my life tomorrow if I have cancer. So we decided to move ours to make sure that all the resources in the community went to that event. So we went and moved ours to the first. So that's why ours is now the first instead of the last Saturday. So, and again, if you have a choice of Boston Pride or South Coast Pride, I think I'm going to Boston. You know, so we want to make sure that, you know, we didn't impede. So we talked offline about funny stuff that we learned from. I got my hat on. Thanks, Kevin, for getting it for me. Never put a year on a shirt, because you can resell them. If you go through,
We learned that.
If you go through my notes, my girlfriend at the time, Teresa, she had to catalog how many shirts we had, and inventory them was not funny, and how much money we actually lost. If you see one of the years, we actually only made $48 at the end of one of the prides.
Wow.
Yeah, that's because that's all we basically did all our year, was to make money for Pride. But we didn't do these events what you guys are doing. So you guys, to me, I see you as we the South Coast LGBT Network, we represent, and we're doing all kinds of events and sharing information, and we're out there. We've done it. Last year we did a community health fair. We're not doing one this year. We just got so much on our plate, not enough people to do it. But I love the fact that Cape's getting, reinvested in the gay community, or just, you know, I've always been here, but now I'm letting you know I'm out. So where can I meet you? You know, and I think that Cape has more places that may be easier for gay people to come out. We did October 11th, is National Coming Out Day, and the fire chief came out, unfortunately, back in the day. He got outed, he got into a fight with his boyfriend, the police came. Wow. And that's how they knew he was gay. Wow. So we actually planted a tree in his honor at his house. And so I drive up in my car, I pull around, and they're all our friends looking at me. I get out of the car, and I go, oh my God, it's you. I go, why? Because on my bumper sticker on my car said, choose life your mother did. And they thought I was a protester. And I'm like, oh my God, people, it's a bumper sticker. There's choices that we have, and there's sometimes, should I believe this or I don't believe that? But I'm like, oh my God. But we did little things like that, but not enough. So to have, you know, the middle, the low, and the upper Cape do their own things and keep sharing. I will share it on every page that I can, and I'll give you guys the information for the Mass Rhode Island, and I'm actually an admin on the Mass Rhode Island page. One of the girls hit me up and said, Traci said, can you help me with that? I'm like, might as well. So I have like 8 pages now that I can post for the most part on. And there's also, I mean, there's a New Bedford page, there's a Fall River page. So you can hit town pages and just say, listen, you know, can I share my stuff with you? So find your town pages and say, listen, I got something, can I share it with you? I think that's how people know what's going on. And our network, like I said, this is our 2nd year doing the movie series. And people are like, oh, and our table's there. People are like, oh, how you doing? What's going on? You're here? So I got there early last week? God help me, 2 weeks ago, and we were right up front. People were like, oh, you know, our banner's there, our logo's there, we shared all our information. Go to any event you can. You're having the wine tasting, I think that's terrific. Be there, get there, and get out there. And one of the things, you know, we're a non-alcohol event. So you guys have the benefit of people going into town, getting a drink, and coming back to your pride event. That's going to be successful for you. One of the things that we always hear, but there's no alcohol. Then you can't wait 5 hours. Please, come on, you can wait 5 hours. I guess, you know, you can. I know you guys said you're part of Interpride. Just you can still be on the NERP page. I'm on the NERP page. There's a NERP Facebook page, Northeast Regional Prides. So you can just see what's going on and ask for help. I actually asked for a vendor a couple of years ago. Who do you guys use for your rainbow vendor? You know, but I found one at Worcester Pride last year when I went to Worcester Pride. I just got the guy's card. I said, listen, you're the only rainbow vendor we have. Do you want to come? So he said, yeah. We had one dude selling all rainbow stuff. And then all the other vendors kind of sold the stuff in between. But, you know, just share the information. So I know we have a few minutes. Do you want to say anything before we head out?
Only that if people want to share their email address with us, then they'll be put on an email list and be updated about every 2 weeks on what's going on and what events are happening. And we also send out, I meant to bring the little bumper sticker, that we give them a bumper sticker to hopefully put on their car and just be counted as a friend of Cape Cod Pride.
Oh, that's cool.
Just make sure they go to capecodpride.org and follow us on Facebook.
It's just Cape Cod Pride, guys. It's that easy.
We have a lot of exciting things planned in all the regions, and we actually started planning for next year. So it's a lot. We want everyone to come out and enjoy themselves, have a good time, rain or shine. Yeah,
it is. It's rain or shine. It is what it is, definitely. And just one more thought. Or just,
Did you have one more thing?
No.
Okay, you're up.
Thank you for having me. And you can find us on Facebook at Free Mom Hugs, Massachusetts and New Hampshire. We also have a Rhode Island chapter. Alaska chapter, if you're tuning in from Alaska.
I saw that. I actually, on a different piece of paper, I wrote down all 39 states. I was like, holy crap.
41 as of today. And we're hoping to do things, you know, as this is snowballing so fast, we're hoping to do like a transgender Valentine's Day dance next year. They just did that in Oklahoma, and it was a big success.
Cool.
So we're hoping to start adding events of our own. Right now, our goal is to get to every event. So on our Facebook page, we're listing like every event we can possibly think of to get out there and support the LGBTQ community. So our job is to be wherever the action is, wherever we can celebrate, we're going to be there. So it's, you know, if you have the desire to be part of our group, just check out our guidelines, and rock some swag and come and, you know, help us, you know, really make people feel valued and affirmed.
So next week's show, guys, we've actually had shows on our youth. We had, second show was two elders of the LGBT community with two youth answering questions out of my hat, which is really quite funny to see the different, you know, what happened, what it was like for you when you came out, what it was like for you to come out. So next week's show is all on our elders. We're gonna have two straight elders, mature, and two gay matures. The reason why I say mature individuals is because Tom doesn't want to be called senior or elder, he wants to be called mature. So we're going to have basically the same thing. We're going to have two straight, mature individuals and two gay, mature individuals, and kind of see what the life is like and, you know, what it's like out there for people as your age. So that's next week's show. I'll be here next week. Take care. Bye now.